Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Welcome to the Chicken Steak Podcast. I'm your host Bruno, and with me, back again, my co-host David.
Hey! So don't delay. Act now. No, I'm kidding. I'm not
Fuck's sake, we're not starting the fucking podcast with Smash Mouth.
Uh, it's a good song though.
Okay. How's your week been?
It's been hell. I've had the longest week this week right now. It's like start at 10 and end at 7. Oh yeah, you can now see my girl from the background.
Yeah.
I just realized
Well,
that
the viewers, the listeners
the
cannot.
listeners cannot. They can just hear random noises and maybe giggles depending on what she is doing in the background. No, I start at 10 and I end at 7 p.m., which it just sucks. I'm home at at 8. And it's just long days. I'm only free for one day, so I've been very tired. It's been very low energy. Your week has been good. I forgot how to speak there.
Well, I'm still working from home, obviously.
And how is that treating you?
I gotta be honest, pretty uneventful week, except for like some stuff that I'll get into later. But yeah, mostly it's been pretty slow.
Fair enough.
Okay, so the first topic for today we got. You wanted to talk about how much you hate the word foodie.
Yes, I hate this word because I am by these terms a foodie, but the word sounds so goofy, so dumb.
I'm a foodie.
I'm a foodie. I enjoy food. I enjoy like all the cool things about this thing and da 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 da. It makes me a foodie. It's like, listen, I was a hipster before hipster was even a thing. Oh, was what it was called, a proto hipster.
Aye, Grandpa.
Now listen here, kid. When I was in your age.
So what about the actual word? Like, I guess it sounds goofy, but is there anything else you don't like about it?
It's like how the culture behind that has it's not really lost its meaning. It's just created a very dumb. It's like, for example, you have food porn, which for a lot of listeners, not what you think it is. It's literally food that it looks so fucking good that you just start salivating. But the entire idea behind that we need to give titles to everything, it's what I think bugs me the most about this.
The labelization that society does constantly.
Yeah, because I understand it's like, oh, you're not an elitist gourmet or something like that. It's like, yeah, nobody really is like that. If you're so up your own ass that you're going, oh, this filet mignon is one of the most tastiest. It's like, no, go fuck yourself.
I honestly don't think like some really fancy guy will say filet mignon is the shit. I think there's better stuff than filet mignon.
I mean, this is Kobe beef.
Kobe, not Kobe. Kobe. Kobe.
Yes, as you know. May he rest in peace.
Yes, true.
He's now slam dunking in heaven.
Okay, stop.
Oh, my low energy brain is not a good thing right now.
Hey, it's gonna make great content.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be that.
Do you have anything else you want to say about
I just
the word
wanted
foodie?
to rant about it, and then I realized I'm too tired to rant.
Okay.
So I realized it's right now it's a very shitty thing. I was just sitting at work and going through fucking Instagram of all the fucking places. That was such a bad call for me. It was like, oh, I'm such a foodie, and I just started to become more and more angry the further I scrolled, and I realized I'm sounding like a fucking grandpa now. I mean, to be fair, in our server, I am considered a boomer, even though I am actually a zoomer.
You're a millennial.
Actually, no, because millennials to 95, and because I'm born 96, I am what's considered a Gen Z. So I'm a Zoomer. And that makes me sad.
It's confusing. I've looked at multiple sources, and every source says different time period.
Yeah, I've just accepted my my baby boomerness in this case. I'm
Mm.
not even a baby boomer. Boomers are like 80 years or something old.
I
Like
think it's like
hell.
65 to 80.
Yeah. Well, what we consider boomers are actually baby boomers that are like in their mid 50s. Eh. Yeah, I just
How do
want
we start talking about boom?
because I'm a boomer.
Okay. So I heard something happened to your kitchen floor.
Oh my
You wanna
god.
you wanna elaborate?
So last year when we got into this apartment, I think it was like a month in when we were living here. We started noticing that our sink was like gurgling. I was like, oh no, that's not very uncommon for the sink to gurgle. Like there's some air in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pipes
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Like the word sounds it does.
Yeah, and we were like, oh no, that's not an issue. It started doing it often and often. And I was like, this is very frequent. I don't understand what's going on. And then suddenly, both me and my girlfriend were home. I think we were homesick or something like that. Not COVID. It was confirmed. No worries. uh, and I just went out to the kitchen because I heard the sink sounding and I wanted a glass of water. I go out and I just see our sink filled with uh, goopy, like very clouded water. I was like, "What the fuck is
The
going on?"
fuck?
And
Okay.
kept rising a bit. I was like, "Well, that's odd. That's not supposed to happen." I
Huh.
was like, "That's
Hey,
not
I don't
supposed to
remember
happen."
leaving this here.
And earlier on that day, we were like, "Oh, the sink it doesn't drain as fast," so we tried to fix it. I've done it multiple times. Took it apart, put it together, and we're like, "Okay, so it's nothing with our like on our end, fine." Uh, Suddenly we get a knock on the door, and it's like, "Hey, have you been using the shower in between these hours, like two very specific hours?" And we're like, "No, why?" Yet the neighbors under you have said that there's leaking water from the roof, and we're like, "Oh, could that be why we're getting?" And we explained the situation that our sink was being very weird, and
Hmm.
then the thing didn't stop doing this. So they went down, talked to the people, tried to figure it out. We're like, okay, if it continues, we'll see what happens. But we, hopefully, it was just a freak call or something like that. Later on that day, it starts coming out more and more and more, and it's not draining away.
Hmm.
And that's the point we realized we've taken out the where the trash bins is because it's under the sink, and it's flowing out of the tube because the old tube, the old pipes is connected to new pipes and it was leaking out of there. They like did a very botched job. We found out later
Jesus
on that they
Christ.
did a pretty botched job putting everything together. It was leaking out of there, and we were like, "Shit, we need to call a plumber now." So we contact the person we're renting this place, explained the situation, and he said, "Yeah, no, call a plumber. Uh, they need to come and fix this." They come. It's a long ass story, and at that point, it started to flow out of this pipe. We put towels around just to minimize minimize all the damage that could happen because we have wooden floor or hardwood,
Yeah.
and it was starting to seep through under it because there was one plank we can step on that just making squishy noises. And it started to go like you see in some cracks that it was getting like water damage. So the plumbers came. They had a fancy ass tube thing with a camera, and they stuck it down, and that's when the entire thing happened. And they shoved the camera down and was like, okay, we're gonna have to empty this out. They sucked out all the water with a huge ass machine. They put down the camera again and trying to see what the fuck was going on. And they finally find a stop, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like pretty much. It looked like a toilet roll just shoved down the
What
pipe,
the fuck?
and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna try jamming it with the camera probe and to see if it was moving." And they were like, "This is not budging. We're gonna need to drill in some pipes."
What the fuck?
At this time, it was like 7. And they were like, "Yeah, we need to drill." So they got the supplies, found the main line where it was connected,
Yeah.
and they started drilling. And I think they were drilling for like half an hour because the goddamn drill was not it was not biting well enough into the pipe. So we're just drilling, change
Come
parts,
on!
drilling some more. Eventually, they managed to take the entire thing off, make a hole into it, and they were like, "Oh, okay, now we found the issue now." So not only was it like a bunch of toilet paper, it was also
Mhm.
like one of those things you hang in a toilet to make it smell nice when you flush it.
A freshener.
Like yeah, the freshener, like the casing of a freshener had had gotten stuck in the main pipe. We asked it. We was like, "How often does that happen?" And it was like, "A lot more often you expected."
Really?
Yeah. Fast forward, I think a few weeks, an insurance person comes that has to check like the humidity, see if there were any long-lasting damage because it was actually dripping down to the neighbors under us. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The humidity was at the 90%. It's not
Mm.
supposed to be that high. 90
Oh,
is quite a
really?
lot. And we got to know that is one of the most common issues why pipes get clogged, and why they get this backdraft pretty much. That people just accidentally just flush their goddamn fresheners down the fucking toilet.
Bye bye.
Yeah,
Just
no,
fucking yeets it in and flushes.
it's like, oh gee, thanks. So
Thing is, I'm kind of disappointed
mm,
because I thought you were gonna say like they drilled open the pipes and were like, "Yo, there's a baby in here."
you were expecting like a rat.
Someone flushed the baby.
But I was
Like,
looking
I
at
don't
the
want this.
I was looking at the camera. I was like, that looks like an entire roll of paper, which it pretty much was. It was just a bunch of
Wait,
toilet paper.
but think about it. Like the hole at the base of the toilet. How do you fit a roll of toilet paper?
That's one of my
through there?
first thought, but then because it really looked like that, but then when they took it out, it was just this air freshener. But because how it looks and it has all this holes and stuff, paper just got stuck and eventually just bubbled up. So this was actually a question about time when this would
It was
happen.
a time bomb.
Yeah, it was
But it was like
straight
a
up
clog
like,
bomb.
when we talked to the person that rented this entire thing. Um, he says like, yeah, no, I'm just glad that you guys live there right now, because if this would have happened when nobody was living there, we might have needs to refurnish the entire fucking house because of water damage.
Yo,
Yeah,
the flood city.
that would have been horrible. Story's not done.
Oh God,
There
what
is
else
more.
happened?
Obviously, they need to rip up the floor because there was 90% the humidity in the entire fucking kitchen.
Yeah.
So they ripped up the hardwood, found out there was a laminate floor under it, and what we guessed, yeah, there was somebody just saw there was a laminate floor and was like, "That is ugly. I'm just gonna put hardwood all over this instead." Yeah, people do weird things when they upgrade their kitchen and stuff like that. And motherfucker, under that, there was apparently some fuzzy layer or whatever it was. We managed to figure out it was like an old carpeted thing, and we hope.
So there was carpet with a layer of laminate and then a layer of hardwood. What?
Yeah.
What is
So
this fucking?
So the hardwood was the newest part because the laminate floor was ugly, but the person who decided to put laminate floor above this fuzzy thing, we guessed it was like carpet, but so we thought, oh, hopefully they install a dehumanizer in there
Dehumanizer.
Dehumidifier.
That's what it is.
That's what
Dehumanizer.
Exterminate all life forms in the vicinity of the kitchen.
I mean, considering how fucking dry it got in the entire apartment, we had it for, I think, 3 weeks, running 24/7, because it was not that loud, actually. It sounded like a dishwasher running. And so it was very funny. Every time we went into the kitchen, it was like, huh, did you start the dishwasher? And it's like, no, that's the machine drying out everything. They come back after 3 weeks, they do a new measurement, it is fine. Okay, cool. Get everything out of there. Now we have to wait for a new floor. This is before New Year's. This is before Christmas. We're gonna have to wait. They called my girlfriend earlier this week, I think Monday, saying like, hey, can we come tomorrow and put in the floor? It's in about 19 hours we'll be there. It's like, okay, to begin with, I am not home. I am in another part of the country. My boyfriend is at work during those hours. Yeah, if you cannot take that tomorrow, you will have to wait. So passive aggressive message back and forth. She wrote them again, and we got no reply when they're gonna put down this floor. If we're lucky, we might have something next week.
He just left hanging. It's like,
yeah, no, it's like the same thing with the person that was gonna put in the dehumidifier. They rang, I think, was correct, 2 days in advance to double check, and I think that day, those days that they gave us, they were like, you know what? I'm gonna send you my number to my boyfriend. He knows best because he's gonna be the one at home during one of these hours. So everything has been on very short notice lately, and it's just mind-boggling. Like, these things should not be that. It's like, oh, we're coming in a few hours. Great. Thank you.
You better be ready.
Yeah. Some
Okay.
update on the kitchen floor whenever that happens.
I'll keep track. Okay, so what we got next? Sports we used to play. I'll let you start this one off because I gotta think.
Oh, you haven't thought of this before?
It's like complicated. Because, like, first off, it's like, you want to know, like, actively for school or just generally?
No,
what I
actively for
play?
school is just school stuff. Like, you're forced to do that. You don't really have any options when it comes to that.
Okay.
But, like, you do it on your free time. I've done karate, fencing, boxing, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, swimming for multiple years. I think swimming is the one that I've done the longest. And the biggest reason why I didn't want to do, I think I was doing it I was 10 when I started, and I stopped, no, I was even earlier, 7 when I started, and I stopped when I was 15.
And you swam all the way to Sweden.
No, I came to Sweden when I was 3.5. It doesn't work canonically. It's not part of the story.
Shit.
Legacy stuff, bro. Legacy stuff. But swimming was the thing I did for the longest time, and holy fuck if I do not remember it fondly. We had the worst coaches ever. Like, am I boring you, Bruno?
No, I'm just tired.
Yeah, to be fair, we are recording this at 9:45 your time.
Yeah.
It's a very late recording session, but it's my work. It sucks. I'm sorry.
Okay, whatever. A swim.
I had the worst coaches ever. In the worst.
That's great to start.
It's in the worst city ever. Like, they didn't understand. In retrospect,
They didn't understand that you need water. It's so empty. People's like, swim.
It was a little bit of that mentality. No, it was mostly like, oh, for warm-ups, you're gonna do 10 times 1,000 meters. That's your warm-up.
So
and
10
then,
kilometers.
Yeah, so it's 10 kilometers as a warm-up. And then after that, we're gonna do this for times 30. And it was like, they were drilling us so hard for something we were not as good at, because we did compete in like our regional, like a national level, but it was not a lot of us that really did that. It was a very small like club doing this. So they were drilling us with this really hard training routines that really didn't benefit us at all. Yeah, I'm stumbling over my words right now. That was a fucking suckers thing. But that leads me into the next thing, which I enjoyed absolutely the most, and it was something called underwater rugby.
Oh, I've heard of underwater hockey. I haven't heard of
Underwater rugby
actually.
is you have pretty much a ball with salt water in it, because in regular water it will sink.
Yeah.
And your equipment is fins, obviously, swimming trousers,
Trunks.
No, not even trunks. Like, you do not want to have trunks for this. You need to have
Like a swimsuit?
like either speedos or like those that looks like that are like to your knees, because if you if you go with trunks, you're gonna get them ripped off. Trust me. No, it's a contact sport underwater, and you use snorkels, and obviously a little fucking silly ass cap, like water polo caps. On your head, so you can easily identify.
I hate those.
They felt like shit on your head, and we won 2 nationals in that, which I'm very proud of, because that's the only thing I've actually won gold in.
It's fucking water rugby.
Yeah, it's just a sport, and we won that twice.
Out of the entire
Once in
3
junior
players
and
of
then in
water
senior.
rugby, I was the best.
No, my team was the best. I did. No, that's the part that I enjoyed the most, that the team won, because something I really hated with the regular swimming was, it was like, no, you're competing against yourself and everybody else, and if you don't do well, you suck. It's like, oh, gee, thanks.
But I was bad at swimming.
So what time?
I had to do.
Yeah.
Well, I did swimming too, because we kind of had to for school. So I did that when I was like from like the ages of 7 to 9. And I remember like I liked being in water, but I did not like doing all the like maneuvers and all this stuff.
The
Like
crawl, the butterfly and stuff like that.
The most fun part was then we're just like, alright, now we're gonna test how long you can hold your breath underwater. That was my favorite part. I think as best I could usually do was like maybe like 30 seconds.
Baby
Oh,
numbers.
And then I guess like the 2 prominent sports. When I was pretty young, I did a lot of dodgeball at school as well, and I loved dodgeball purely because it was a very like meme sport, I'd say, because it's literally just most of the time you just pretending to be Neo from the Matrix, dodging everything.
Yeah, and then you get hit in the nuts and you go like, oh, that was a mistake.
Well, no, because we had like these weird like soft puffy balls, so it didn't
Those
hurt when they
things
hit
still
you.
hurt if you get hit in your nuts.
Kind of. Well, we'll talk about nut hitting in the next sport. Right now, but yeah, pretty much. I would always dodge the balls, but then when I got the ball, I would miss always. But then there's the most prominent sport in my life: football.
Wait, you actually played football?
I played a shit ton of football. I didn't play on a team.
Nerd. What would that make you nerd?
No, but I still love football. But it's like the thing that all the neighborhood kids played. We played a shit ton, and I remember my main thing, because like by the time I was really into football, I got pretty chubby already. I was pretty much the wall. So they put me on like backline defense, and anyone's cover 20, I'm just like, sup, you will not pass.
Bop, 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 bop. Sorry.
No, because I was agile on my feet, but I was wide, so I was like, yo, you can't get past.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And then the other place they like to put me was goalkeeper. I'm a horrible goalkeeper.
Oh no.
The only time, and this was we were having like in our own school like a tournament between all the classes in football. I was put as goalkeeper.
Oh,
We were it was a 3-3 game, and there was like 30 seconds left in the match. I see, like, because we were playing against the class that had all the jocks, and they're like all really good at football. I'm like, oh no, and I'm a goalkeeper, so I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah.
They're running in. They kick the ball. I jump up. It smacks me in the nuts. But I deflect the ball. So my teammates get the ball and they run to the other side and they score and we win. So literally,
Your nuts.
I won a game with my nuts. And yeah, that's football.
A teabag for victory.
Pretty much.
Oh my god.
Oh
Christ.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't do much sports.
Oh, I have a horror story from, not horror story, but the worst time. I because I've done so many different types of martial arts, I picked up enough things from different things. So when I was doing what was it, taekwondo, like my sensei was very prominent that you needed to like put up your guard, and because I've done boxing and stuff like that, I already had a pretty proper guard, so it's like, look at David, do it as he does. Which then later on, when we were sparring, I am not a tall dude. I am not very tall at all. I'm average, which is
Nice short.
no, not that short.
Shorty.
I'm actually the funny thing. I'm tall for being a Chilean, but I am average size for being a Swede. No, I mean I'm actually short for being a Swede when I think of it. I'm like a head taller in Chile, which is very funny. I'm also pasty white when I'm in Chile compared to everybody else. So yes, I do stick out. No, and they put me up against it was like 2 meters and like 2-something meters tall. Like it was towering over me. He was a lanky dude though, and so I thought, oh well, height and thing.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
No, the taller they are, the longer they have to fall. And at the time, I was wearing glasses too, so obviously in sparring, I didn't want to have my glasses on. Duh, obviously, there's just don't do that.
Too many things that can go wrong.
Yes. But because it was so tall, I could still see his silhouette and everything like that. Match starts. He instantly kicks me in the shins. I fall to the ground, and I'm just later going like, nope, I ain't. Nope, I'm out. Fuck this. Nope, fuck that. I ain't fighting. There was I couldn't even get close to him.
It's like 3, 2, 1, hey! Ah!
It was like kick, and I was on the floor. I was like, I couldn't even close the distance to him because his leg was more than half my size. I was like, I have a height disadvantage from you. It's not that I had a little man complex. I literally could not get any close to him. You know the classic thing what you could do with a child, put your hand on their head, is hold them at arm length. That's what it felt like when he kicked me.
Except he fucking kicked you. Don't kick a child in the shins.
It wasn't even a shin. It was in the fucking it was straight up in my chest.
Oh god.
So not only did it knock the wind out of me, I was just laying on the floor. I was like, ah.
Help me.
But the funniest part about that was I managed to win a sparring match with a black belt, and I think I was like 2 level up because we were training with bokeh sticks, which is pretty much like, oh, it's just a stick. It's straight up just a stick you're fighting with.
Okay.
And because I've done fencing before, I use a little bit of that to fight
Dirty tricks, some MMA.
dirty tricks. Yeah, no. So I won against a black belt because I knew stuff he really didn't know what to do against. Oh no. But yeah, no, that's the part where I decided, no, I'm not gonna do martial arts that where I'm gonna have this like disadvantage with it.
Shit.
And also because my coach was like, training is training. If you're not here training, then you should quit. No school, no final exam, nothing is an acceptable reason not to come here. It's like,
Jesus.
yeah, this doesn't motivate you. I'm sorry, coach. I have to leave.
Love coaches.
Yeah, no.
Oh, this week I've been playing a really cool game. It's actually a game that I would want to recommend to you.
Oh.
So, if you open up Le Steam...
Let me open up Steam.
Let me as well, because it was apparently closed for me.
FTL, now in 9 languages. Nope, that's not it.
Oh, shit. No, but it's a game called Curse of the Dead Gods. And it is awesome.
That is not how you spell cures. You spelled cures.
Aesthetically, it's like if you combined Hades and Darkest Dungeon. But then the gameplay, I'd say, is like a mix of Hades and like Bloodborne.
Oh, I've seen this game before.
I've been playing it this week.
Wait,
This game is so
still
fun.
in early access.
Yes, it gets its 1.0 update on 23rd of February.
Oh, that explains it. Yeah, no, because I remember seeing this like a while ago. Like a really long time ago.
Because I'm not usually like too keen on roguelikes. Like I have some that I like. I of course love Binding of Isaac because like that was the first big one and the first one I really played.
Yeah.
But this game, it like somehow just clicked with me. I love the art style. The gameplay feels very like responsive and good. And like you can even like cancel any attack frames or anything just by rolling or parrying. Feels very nice. It has really like beefy like hits. You hit something, you really feel it. It's great. And it's also the way that it incorporates kind of some of the Darkest Dungeon systems. For example, there's a light and darkness system. For example, without any buffs or debuffs, in the dark you take more damage and certain enemies like can't be seen, and you cannot see traps in the dark. But you are on default equipped with a torch, so like you whip it out, you see everything around you, and you don't take more damage. And around like arenas, there's like braziers you can light up, and it'll like light up the area. But if an enemy hits it, it will go out. So it adds like this like management mechanic, because you can also get certain buffs that increase your damage in the light or in the dark even.
Oh.
And then the other mechanic that's very Darkest Dungeon-esque is there's a curse meter. So whenever you get hit by certain enemies and when you pass through a stage, you gain a bit of corruption.
Yeah.
When you fill up the corruption bar, you gain 1 curse. A curse is kind of like a debuff, but it's like a double-edged blade. Because it doesn't really affect you negatively, it just changes how the game works. And you can have up to 5 curses. The 5th curse is usually horrible. In my experience, is the 5th curse is that your health is just gradually decreasing, and yeah.
So it becomes like a time challenge instead.
Kind of. It's because your health goes down until you reach 1. You can heal, and you heal up, and it'll tick down again till 1. So pretty much makes you a 1 hit.
I beat like Curse of Dead God. We only 1 health.
No, there's already like I've seen people do no hit runs because you get actually bonuses for finishing rooms no hit.
I mean, that's the same concept with Enter the Gungeon's final like the what's it called level bosses. It's the same thing. No hits, you get extra cash. You also get an extra health for it. You did well, more health.
There's like a gotta say fuck ton of mechanics to even explain. Then there's, as I mentioned, only in light you can see traps. Now, traps are interesting. There's a couple of traps. There's spike traps, which is basically your typical, like, orcs must die, like, square that, like, shoots up spikes. Here, on default, it only shoots up when you step on it. And you can roll over it to negate the damage. Then there's little, like, statues that shoot fireballs at you, very Castlevania-esque.
Yeah.
And then there was... what was it? Oh, yeah, there's also a room with a grated floor that, like, over time...
Oh.
No. It's grated. And it lights up in flames one by one, so you have to go through the room and kill enemies whilst the fire is following you.
Oh, that's cool.
And then there's a flamethrower, so if it gets hit by certain attacks or flame, it just starts spewing fire. The cool thing about all these traps is they affect both you and enemies. And there's even, like, you can acquire runes, which are, like, buff items that, like, give you bonuses for getting environment kills. And, like, the depth in this game is really awesome. Like, that's what got me so addicted to it. Yeah. So that's what I've been kind of playing this week, aside from, like, Minecraft and Valorant.
Fair enough. You still play Valorant?
I've started it up again. I mean, I find it fun. It's like CSGO Overwatch.
Yeah. I've seen so much, like, on Twitter, the promotional stuff go like, oh, new character you can play as.
I'm calling him Sasuke. I'm calling a new character Sasuke, and it really upsets some of our friends.
Of course.
Alexis, namely.
Sasuke. No.
Okay. So for the last thing...
Oh,
yeah? No, go ahead.
Because we're a tiny little bit of dead air, I wanted to say this. Like, they shouldn't have really say the first one. About the who pays thing.
Oh, fuck! I forgot about that topic. Okay, that's a good topic. So let's go for that.
So I was thinking about this, weirdly enough. If two prostitutes have sex, who pays?
Well, first off, I instantly got an answer for that question. Who hired who?
I mean, yeah, but what if they hire each other?
How does that... Wait, logically explain to me.
So...
if you've been hired as a prostitute, why would you hire the person that hired you then as a prostitute?
What if you want a longer session, though? But
doesn't it just cancel out? Doesn't it just cancel out? So, like, you paid for their service with your service?
So, technically, it's just two consenting adults having sex, and there's no exchange of money. That's just sex with extra steps.
There's no extra steps, it's just made up. Sadly, due to a technical error, David's audio pretty much cut off after this point. But we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Chicken Steak Podcast. And we hope you'll join us next week for our typical shenanigans. Okay, bye.